at a point in my career where I think if I didn't, I was kind of the favorite to win the championship, and I had a horrendous season. It was one of my worst.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I was like, if I win this race, I can redeem my career, sort of thing. When you came over, you're like, okay, like I guess I'm back to zero now. Not only was it that it was way more competitive because everyone was a previous champion in something, it was also like no one really cared. This is America. Whatever you did in the past is like erased.
Yeah.
Like you got to reprove yourself. And that was kind of tough for your ego.
Felix Rosenqvist. Not Quist. Quist. A lot of people get confused.
You can say Quist.
Yeah.
But
you don't get it. I know Marshall Pruitt like pronounces it very well.
Yes.
With the V. He does like a hard V.
It's extra points if you do that. But I like when I present myself, I just say Rosenqvist.
Yeah.
It's
just easier.
At me weirdly if I say Kvist.
Yeah.
So
it's like a lot of people who don't have like super American names. They're like, you know what, just call me John.
Yeah.
just call me Gary. I'm not ready for this. Felix Rosenqvist.
Rosenqvist.
It should be Rosenqvist. Felix Rosenqvist would be like an action star, like a Jean-Claude Van Damme type guy.
Like a puncher guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You have like such an impressive resume. 2-time Macau Grand Prix winner.
Oh yeah. You did your homework.
I did. And I did more than just GPT. I went to your driver database site. Have you ever gone through there?
Oh, that's actually a Swedish site. I used to be there all the time. I haven't been in a long time.
It said when you were a kid you raced in karts against Marcus, but then in an interview you said you didn't race against him.
We did 1 year we raced each other, but he was always he was 1 year older, so he was always like one category higher.
Okay.
And then we took different paths, and then we met up in IndyCar again.
Yeah. 3-time Formula E Prix winner.
Yep, correct.
Yeah. European Formula 3 champion.
Yep.
You've like such an impressive resume, and then like I feel like it's interesting because when you're in like the lower series and you're used to winning all the time, you have like kind of a results-oriented mindset. Your validation and your happiness and your validation and self-worth comes from the win, right? Yes. How do you adjust to becoming like a process-oriented mindset, coming to a place like IndyCar where it's very competitive? Everybody here has won their entire life in career.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like when I came over here, not only was it that it was way more competitive because everyone was a previous champion in something, but it was also like no one really cared because this is America. So like whatever you did in the past is like erased.
Yeah.
Like you got to reprove yourself. And that was kind of tough for your, how do you say, your ego.
Yeah.
When you came over, you're like, okay, like I guess I'm back to zero now. But I feel slowly I've kind of established myself. But obviously, as you say, it's kind of weird when you're used to winning maybe 30% of your races, and now I think I'm on my 99th race and I won one. So I guess
you have like
1%.
6-7 podiums though in IndyCar?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
7 poles, I think, and only 1 win. So we need to.
You're also kind of like a street specialist in IndyCar. Like you've had considerable success, like Toronto, Detroit. You got pole here last year at Long Beach. Is there something about street circuits that make you feel more comfortable?
I think that was always my kind of favorite.
Yeah.
As I grew up, because when we raced like in Formula 3, you had these special events, like you had Macau, you had Po in France, you had Norris Ring, and whenever you went to those, it felt very special. So everyone was like, we normally don't do this. We normally only do road courses. So it felt like it was like a cooler, like more prestige. So I guess that kind of stayed with me through my career. Like whenever you get to like St. Pete to Long Beach, like now it's proper in a way.
It's so interesting. Going back to the Macau Grand Prix, because you won the Macau Grand Prix back to back in 2014, 2015. Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people follow the lower series like Formula 2, Formula 3, like, you know, they'll follow it in a sense where like they might watch highlights or race results, but very few people watch the actual race. Yeah. But it feels like the entire world, at least people who are hardcore motorsport fans, tune into the Macau Grand Prix.
Yeah.
And did you feel like extra pressure going into that race?
Oh, massively.
Yeah.
I remember the first year I won because I was like at a point in my career where I think if I didn't, I was kind of the favorite to win the championship, and I had a horrendous season. It was one of my worst in my career. And Macau is in the end of the season. Mm-hmm. So I was like, if I win this race, I can redeem my career sort of thing. And that's kind of what Macau, it's kind of like the 500, but in the junior series. If you win that race, like you'll get eyeballs on you, and something will come out of it.
Right.
So I was like, I have to win this race, and I was on pole, and then I won the qualifying race and the main race. But I remember before the race, like this pressure is insane. I couldn't even talk. I was like shaking, and it's the only time ever I really had that. But I told myself, like, if you can deal with this pressure, like you can deal with anything. And then I won it. So it's like kind of like a check mark. Like you need to be able to cope with this.
You feel like mentally it was like a turning point in your career?
For sure, yeah. The biggest turning point, for sure.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then things happened, and I came back the next year and won again, which was even more cool. But yeah, there was definitely like a point in my career where things started to, like, I might actually be able to do this for a living.
I'm going to give you a SiriusXM channel.
Okay.
And you have to tell me, is it a real SiriusXM channel or did I make it up?
Okay.
Elvis Radio.
Fake.
That's real. It's channel 19. Make sure to tune in.
Cut. Can we cut?
Elvis Radio.
Channel 19. True.
Wow, this guy knows his stuff. Elvish Radio.
Elvish.
All elves all the time. Lord of the Rings style.
Fake.
That is fake. Octane.
Oh, Octane's true. I had it on my car last race.
You did?
Shine down, baby.
High-powered rock station. Octane. Channel 37. The Swedish Chef from the Muppets covering 90s rap.
True.
That, unfortunately, that is a fake SiriusXM channel. But that would be very good. It's your California, I know I dare to bear it.
Marcus has some good, he's into Swedish rap.
Is he?
Yeah, you can ask him.
I should ask him about that. Also, the Swedish Chef accent doesn't sound Swedish at all, right?
No. Hooty fruity hooty hoo. Hooty hoo. Does it? Maybe it sounds more Danish.
Maybe
Christian will, because we think that Danish sound like they have a potato in their mouth. It's like Swedish, but potato stuck in their mouth.
I'll have to ask him. But I feel like the Danish chef doesn't roll off the tongue the same as the Swedish chef. Next SiriusXM channel, real or fake? Whale farts.
I have to guess fake.
That is correct. That's a fake one. That's my bad. I made up that one. Bon Jovi Radio.
True.
It's
been on the car.
Yeah.
St. Pete, 2024.
It was on the car last year. Channel 312. Does anyone ever call you the Swedish Chef?
I've heard a lot of...
Because on track, you cook?
A lot of people talk about the Swedish Chef, but it's funny because Swedish people don't even know who it is.
Really?
But now I know, obviously, because it was the whole... When I came over, everyone's like, oh, the Swedish Chef.
That is so interesting to me that probably the most famous Swedish character in the world is unknown in Sweden.
Yes, and also the Swedish fish no one knows about in Sweden.
Because in Sweden, you just call them fish, right?
But they're they're like big in America.
So they don't sell Swedish fish in Sweden?
No.
Okay. I'm sure you get those questions all the time. Sorry. But do you know, are you familiar with Sour Patch Kids?
Yes.
Do you know what they're called in France?
Sur la patch enfant.
They still have like an English name, but it's Very Bad Kids.
Very Bad Kids?
That's what they're called. I don't think it's a direct translation, but
I'm not surprised.